So JJ, you've been gone because you was at DreamCon this whole time, man. Tell me about that. What's been happening?
DreamCon was a dope anime convention down in Houston, Texas this year, ran by RDC World and them. Great experience, man. Fun experience. You got day parties, you got after parties, you got nightlife, whatever you want. You're gonna be surrounded by a bunch of beautiful black people at all times. I mean, it's a great vibe and it's a great experience. Man, I would suggest it to anybody. Feel free to slide. The next year is going to be in Houston once again, end of July. So feel free to slide. I'm probably going to be down there once again. We're going to be kicking it.
I'm going to Houston for everything walking up and down Alameda Road. I don't know about the comics and the anime, but
You don't have to worry about the
shit,
comments. After party, feel
I
free.
got you.
Come to that.
So JJ's been gone in Houston, so he's been starting his podcasting duties. But fellas, we are here once again on Monday to talk basketball from a Central Division Midwestern perspective. We are 2 games into the NBA Finals, man. So split 1-1. We're going this the series is still up for grabs, headed back to Indiana. The game was it Game Bridge Fieldhouse up there in Naptown. What's you all's reactions from game two after OKC won by 20 some odd points?
They
I'll
shouldn't
go
have
first.
lost the first time, really. I
Yeah,
mean,
they lost the first time, quite
uh,
frankly. OKC had that first game on lock. They should have held on. I mean, I'm gonna call out a choke when I see a choke. And personally speaking, I felt they choked that game away in game one. I feel
Mm.
like game two they came out with the appropriate energy. They learned their lesson. You cannot let Indiana hang around. They've proven more than one time if you let them hang around and you make mistakes and you don't put your foot on their neck, they will make you pay. OKC learned the lesson. They figured it out. They didn't play any games with them. When Indiana went on a little brief run, OKC put a stop to that quickly. So credit to them for doing what they should have done in game one, but keep it going in the next one.
What was you saying, B. Foster, about you agree with JJ3 that Indiana should not have won. Indiana should be going home down 0-2.
yeah, yeah, I agree.
So Tate, I'm gonna come around to you. Your opinion about Halliburton from a previous episode was that he's too inconsistent. I looked up at one point yesterday, even though Halliburton was in my parlay, he had 5 points. Um, I don't think anybody from that particular team had really pressed the issue. Mostly in the first half when they Oklahoma started to pull away. So do you? I know you feel Halliburton's inconsistent, but do you feel that Halliburton, as a point guard, it is his responsibility to force the issue a little bit more and to get his team going from a in the scoring box?
Um, well, yeah, I mean, a point guard and some of the best point guards, and I mean, he's considered real quick one of the best. Big G on Know It All's podcast yesterday said he was top 10 in the NBA, not point guard, player. I just laughed. I bet him Halliburton wouldn't score because he said he's going to score 30 some tomorrow. Yesterday, he wanted to bet corner time that he. I said he won't score 23, and he did. He tried to in the fourth quarter, but they was down so much they took him out. But yeah, man, I mean, a great point guard gives the team whatever motivation, whatever spark that they need. You know what I mean? I mean, take B. Foss and June's best point guard ever, Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah can get a bucket, get people involved. He was a leader on the team. I mean, like I say, Tyrese Halliburton is that when everything is good, but you know when it's not bad, when it's bad and the pressure is on, he don't always show up. And I mean, I was on the record for saying he's inconsistent. And as soon as I said that was the day he did everything he's supposed to do, scored 32, 15, and 13. I'm like, damn, Tay, you need to shut your mouth. You know what I mean? About myself. And the next night he scored 8 points. Nobody wanted to talk to him. He wasn't giving the press conferences, one in front of the cameras, all the stuff I said before. When the stuff is good, you know, you just got to be more consistent, man. I mean, so I think he's a good player. I've moved him up a level as a player. I wouldn't give him quite the respect he deserves, but he still got to show up consistently in big moments like the NBA Finals.
You moved him up as a player. Where did you have him before?
I mean, I just didn't think I would have went with the whole overrated narrative. I would have sided with that. So, but I mean, he's proved to me thus far through the playoffs that he's not overrated, but overrated and inconsistent, two different things. So when I say moved up, I'm not saying like, oh, he jumped into the top 20 or top 15, because I don't think he's that, but he's better as a player than I was giving him credit for.
That's probably fair.
What's your overall? What's your take from the game yesterday, June? The Oklahoma City. Is this what you're going to see for Oklahoma the rest of the final?
That noise kind of threw me off. Say it again.
Yeah. Is this? I was basically asking what was your take from the game? Is this what you're going to see from Oklahoma City the rest of the finals? And we're going to go ahead and get a gentleman sweep going.
What I've seen is 7 quarters of domination, right? The first, and even I want to say half of the fourth quarter in the first game. I agree with the fellas. This game, this series should be 2-0 OKC, and I think a lapse by OKC has made it 1-1. But if you look at the first 3 quarters of what OKC is doing, they did that the whole 4 quarters this game. It looks kind of shaky if you're watching, you know, paying close attention. OKC is playing pretty good. Indiana's just they're not putting it together. They made a run in the fourth quarter in game 1, but that's the best I've seen. And it could buy, if they don't fix whatever they need to fix, it could be a gentleman's sweep.
So we all got Oklahoma City winning this time. I think that's the correct prediction to make for this series, just because we didn't expect I don't think anybody expected Indiana to be here. I expected them to be a good playoff team, but finals, conference winning Indiana Pacers, it still doesn't sound right? But let's ask about Oklahoma City Thunder, about what the.
Can I ask a question about that real quick? Because y'all know early in the season I had Indiana regressing and stuff like that, and they didn't regress. I mean, they won the same amount of games. I just want to know. Last year I talked about early in the season. Last year they caught a break because Giannis was hurt, and then Dame got hurt in that series, and
Brunson was hurt.
Brunson was hurt last year against the Knicks and stuff like that. Do we think they maybe caught the same breaks this year though? I mean, like Pay saying like the finals Indiana Pacers, like we didn't predict it. Do we think they caught any breaks along the way to help get them to where they're at?
I think you always kind of gotta I won't say you always got to catch some breaks, but
you do though.
But you do.
Every champion gets breaks.
Everybody gets lucky at some point.
Yeah, like if Halliburton got hurt, they would have a different. You gotta be hitting on all cylinders at the right time. You got to be healthy at the right time, because I want to say that they struggled early. I think they said that up until Christmas they weren't even above 500. So
Yeah,
they
so
got
January 1st is when he took off. They was a top 14 after January 1st. Before then, like you said, no one was paying him any attention. And that's when the overrated, that poll came out that Halliburton was overrated,
right, right.
coming off the Olympics appearance. I say appearance because he didn't play.
He didn't deserve to.
Okay, well, that's a take.
I mean, I
I
think
was going to say that you were right when you said, Tate, I was going to say you were right that they regressed because truthfully they did. The first half of the season, they regressed. And then, as Pay pointed out, they picked up their level of play in January and then they became hot. So this is just a continuation of that. So, I mean, you do have to give them credit. They played well. They beaten the teams that were ahead of them in the standings. I mean, no shade. They dismantled Cleveland. Even though Jason Tatum went down during that series, they were already taking apart Boston in that series. They had a little bit of good fortune go their way, but again, it's the playoffs. Sometimes you make your own luck, and you got to give credit and respect to Indiana for doing that as well. So kudos to them, man.
big fine.
Yeah, you muted. Fine.
Let's talk about Oklahoma City Thunder for a quick second before we pivot to other news in the NBA. The Thunder. A lot of people are talking about, people don't sit in the moment too much, especially that's where we are in this generation, this day and age. We're already thinking about what's next for Oklahoma. Maybe have given them the championship too early. Thinking about SGA getting his contract extension, pause, and then how are they going to keep together Chet when you got to pay him, and then you got to pay Jalen Williams, and this whole type of this. How do you keep together this team for the most part? Especially because they had one of the best regular seasons of all time. They go ahead and finish out this series at the champs. They're gonna have one of the greatest seasons of all time. So I mean, my question is, do you think that Jalen Williams and Chet in particular are they special type of players that they cannot repeat the same quote unquote mistakes that they made in 2020 and 2012 when they had the last time they was in the finals with those same special triplets?
Hmm.
I just feel like it's weird to compare that because you look at the levels that KD, Harden, and it's weird to compare them to Chet and Jalen Williams, but
Comparison aside, but do you
right.
think those are like, I know a lot of people think that breaking that team up after 2012 was a mistake because, as you pointed out, what Harden went on to do and what Russell went on to do and what KD went on to do individually. And at some point, as we have now in the CBA, you have these second aprons and so on and so forth. You can't pay everybody. Is Chet and Jalen Williams the same type of? Do they hold the same type of weight as you have to keep this team together if you're going to continue to be a dominant force in the Western Conference?
No.
I mean, I think that like Chet, you don't look at a Chet in the way, and not to make the comparison, but I think that Chet goes elsewhere and is a role. I mean, I guess I haven't seen enough to think that you pull a Chet off the team and he's the man somewhere else the way you do with Russell
Harden
Westbrook
and
and
Westbrook,
Harden.
yeah.
Yeah, even though I still made the comparison, I just don't. I haven't seen enough. This last year was his first healthy year. I think he had some injury issues this year. I haven't. Yeah,
Mhm.
I haven't seen enough to think that you know. And then Jalen Williams, he's a good borderline star. Do I want to say borderline star? He's an all-star. He's an all-star, right?
He's an all NBA player this year.
Damn. Okay. But
And all defense too.
yeah.
Here's what I'm at. The more I watch this team, again, fantastic team. They are what do you call those type of dogs? Like bloodhounds or whatever? Greyhounds. I don't know. They remind me. I haven't seen any team smother the ball as they do since the Bulls when they were winning championships. Like they are a pest to dribble the ball around. However, the more I watch this team, I don't think Chet, to your point, uh, B. Foster, I don't think Chet or Jalen Williams are irreplaceable. I don't think you have to bend over backwards when it's time to pay him. Now you're going to have to pay Jalen. Like I said, he's made all defense, made all NBA. Um, they've got a they've got draft picks longer than my arm. The next seven drafts, you
There
can
he is.
you can find another Jalen, in my opinion. No shade to Jalen. You can find another Chet. Chet's walking around every program got a Chet nowadays. You got seven footers with
That's
range. They showing up all over the place now. Like we came from an era which that was an alien. It's
Right.
not so much anymore now. Am I tripping?
Not at all.
You tripping. I mean, I agree with you with Jalen. Chet different. They don't call them guys unicorns for nothing. Now, he young, came out this freshman year out of Gonzaga. He got a whole bunch of growth to do. He gonna get bigger, he gonna get stronger, his game gonna get more polished. Yeah, now I do think they gotta pay Chet. Chet might get the Supermax. But
Supermax is crazy.
He's
Because
got
he's
to be
tall?
eligible for a
Not
first.
even-
Because of the ceiling, because he's really tall. Is that what you're basically saying?
No,
well, I mean, it's the same thing the Cavs had to do with Evan Mobley. And the same thing the Spurs got to do with Wembanyama. Those guys are not just everywhere. Yeah, 7-footers that, stretch fives. And Miles Turner's around. Yeah, there's those guys. But Chet is different. Chet can put the ball on the floor. Chet can go get you 3 blocks a game. Chet, as he gets more developed and more stronger, more polished, he's going to be a player. Him and Shea, who they going to build around. I agree with you with Jalen Williams. You can find those guys. They got enough draft picks to be able to fill that spot. And people come off the bench, but not Chet. Chet's a keeper.
What was you saying, June?
I can't remember what, but I just know Chet had 6 points in the first game, man. Harden and Durant would never in the finals.
Harden would.
Harden would.
Harden
definitely.
in the playoffs.
That's why he got traded. That's exactly why he got traded, because he would.
So you tell me you'll take Chet over Harden?
Let's see how you do that.
Okay. Case in point. I mean, but I do agree with Tate. They're going to pay Chet. Chet is young. He has room to get better. Me personally, I was talking to Tate about this last show, the one that you didn't show up, Pay. That
wasn't on schedule.
Chet is not for me. He's not shooting from the outside like I thought he would. According to the hype while he was in high school, he can do all these wonderful things from the outside. But he shoots 33% from 3, which is but I don't know, man. And then you also have to factor in that team in 2012 was facing LeBron James in the Heat, so it's kind of different.
So I don't want to let history go unrecognized. So yes, they were facing the Heat in 2012, and LeBron and them was on a mission. However, timetables got to come to a head at some point. It was time for KD had already got paid. Harden was next up. Harden did what he did in game 4 and 5 in that finals and made the decision. Real easy to get rid of him. So to what you said, Chet had 6 points in one game, and you got to keep lighting a fire underneath Chet to like, hey man, we need you to show up. That's how you get X'd out, right? Same way with Harden. You got X'd out because he discovered that Miami nightlife is different. I'm recklessly speculating on that part, but he didn't show up in game 4 and 5. I'm recklessly speculating. I don't know that. I don't know that for 2012. I know that for Houston. I know that for now. Yes, but 2012, I don't know that. I just know that he pooped the bed in the finals, and then next thing you know, he was in Houston.
Tricking.
Not my business. So for but to pay Chet, but the decision to pay Chet might be a more of a financial one than more so like, yeah, we can. He's more of a building block than Jalen, like you said. Jalen has already made it All NBA. He is up for that type of max that he's eligible for a second contract. Um, Not a super max, but he's up for the max at his level. Chet, he is yet to hit any of those benchmarks, so it could come down just simple dollars and cents in that respect.
I think it comes down to the upside. It's similar to we've had this contentious point on this show and other shows before between me and Mr. Pay. It'd be like the Celtics choosing between Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, right? I mean, we know Jaylen Brown will be the one that gets shipped out if something came to it. And I think just the upside of what Chet can be, again, even though Jaylen Brown, I mean, the Jalen from Williams. Jalen Williams made All NBA and all that stuff on a good team with good supporting cast where he gets to get out and play defense, partly because Hardenstein and Chet is down there guarding the basket. He get all the ball. He's a great defender and all that stuff. But I mean, yeah, he I don't think him and just think All NBA all the time. He played for a 68-win team this year. They did good. He was a big part of it, but that don't mean he's gonna be all that in the future.
And they got a deep team as well. So, like you said, it may be a matter of fact of plug and play. You figure you can get another Jalen Williams. They might be already on the team, just not getting the opportunity.
That's what I was going to say. The kid from Maryland, Aaron Wiggins, could come in and give you most of what Jay will do. Most of, not all.
And Carson Wallace as well.
Case and Wallace, and the one young dude that just played in garbage time today, they say really good. I forgot his name, but they got all them picks. They got to pay Chet and Shea. Shea already getting paid.
They would have to make a decision before it's time for Chet, though. They had to, because it'd be kind of difficult to deal him if you got to give Jalen Williams a max and then try to deal him later. It could get dicey.
Mm-hmm. Let's take our first break, and on the opposite side of this break, we're gonna talk about our individual teams, any type of updates we got coming up for that. You're watching live, stay where you're at. Audio, check out our advertising partners. We'll be right back on the other side.
Need a Garrett's popcorn break.
So, the team with the number one seed in the East, best team up into the playoffs, best team in the division, Cavaliers. What's up with you guys so far in the off season? What's news from coming out of Cleveland?
It's a lot of trade speculation being going on since the loss in the semifinals to the Pacers. A lot of people, myself included, questioning Cleveland's mental toughness and fortitude. Like the general manager Kobe Altman said, we got the 82 game season down. Now we got to get the 16 game season down, and we need more guys with the mentality like Donovan Mitchell and Max Strus have. I think it's some of the Cavs players are just too casual and don't really know how to get it out the mud. You know what I mean? Young guys, nice guys, all that kind of stuff. So it's been trade speculation with Darius Garland and Jared Allen both. And I was on board with it. Darius Garland had toe surgery today. He's going to be out 4 to 5 months. I think him and his agent decided to do that independently on their own. He could have needed the surgery. I mean, he was hurt his toe during the playoffs. But now, that kind of lessens his trade value as far as Cleveland was looking at shopping him and moving him, which I think they were. Not that they had to deal with and play with anybody, but now that's kind of null and void because he won't be ready to play to sometime in early November if the timeline sticks true to itself. Jared Allen, I think the Cavs are better if Evan Mobley is the core piece of that team. Donovan Mitchell's the best player right now. And we'll get into this with the Pacers later, I believe, Pay. Donovan Mitchell's the best player right now, but Evan Mobley is the guy going forward. He's 24 years old. I believe going to be 24 like in a week or two. Made second team All NBA this year, Defensive Player of the Year. He's that piece moving forward that they need, along with Donovan Mitchell, but he's going to be the best player, Evan Mobley. So I think the Cavs they could have traded both Allen and Garland. I think we'll see sometime before the draft they may make a move on Allen for just something different, like a stretch forward that's a little tough with some playoff experience and stuff to be able to let Evan Mobley play the 5. He'd be that stretch 5 like so many teams have right now that are good. So yeah, it's going to be some shakeups in Cleveland. Do they re-sign Ty Jerome and Sam Merrill? Both them guys are unrestricted free agents. I think they have pieces in house to be able to make some of the changes. I mean, the rookie Jalen Tyson they drafted last year in the first round is a really good player. He's kind of 6'6" swing man, plays some guard at California, can handle the ball, can shoot the ball, can play defense and rebound. Kind of like a mixture between Josh Hart and a Neesmith from the Pacers. That type of player. Not saying he's those guys, but you need more guys like that. I can't have Ty Jerome in as hype as I was on Ty Jerome when he's making shots. When he's not making shots, he's not any good. I mean, he was getting picked on in the Pacers series, in the pick and roll. He can't defend nobody. He's a step slow. So if they let him and Merrill go and just elevate and develop Tyson and give Imani Bates an opportunity, and even the kid Craig Porter Jr., the young point guard off the bench, can be a good backup point guard. So I think some of the stuff is there. You trade Jared Allen, bring in another piece, and you still got the same core, the same your 2 All-NBA players that you expanded around. You still would keep the kid they traded for from Atlanta. What's his name? DeAndre Hunter. You still got Max Strus. You still got a lot of them pieces, but you got to bring a different element into the building. A veteran with some toughness, some young guys that are athletic. Just start sprinkling that into the whatever you cooking up. That's all. So that's what's going on in Cleveland.
Thanks for that. JJ3, what's happening coming out of the UC, out of the West? Is that the West Loop? No, out West Illinois.
So yeah, man. Coming out of the West Side of Chicago, the Bulls continue to screw up everything. If y'all can rewind the clock back for a little bit for me, if you will. I came on here on the past show and I said that the Bulls are failing at tanking properly, right? I wanted them to lose more games. The Bulls screwed up and they won too many games. The Bulls screwed up on a coin flip and lost out on the number 1 pick.
Now hold on. How do you screw up on a coin flip? You can only be a winner or a loser. How do you? They didn't flip the coin.
I'm about to get there.
Go on.
The Bulls screwed up on a coin flip because they had to win that amazing comeback game from the Lakers. And they were getting blown out at the UC, and they came all the way back, and everybody was ecstatic and excited. Look at Josh Giddey with his pose, and everybody was in love and clapping it up for the Bulls. And it was just a wonderful and amazing time. That one game, just that game, I could point to several others, but that game right there, I'm going to point to that one because it got so much fanfare, so much media coverage, so much attention. So many eyes were on the UC because LeBron was in the city and in the building, and the Bulls won that game. If it wasn't for that, just that one game, you're not in a coin flip at all. You have a worse record than the Dallas Mavericks. You don't have to worry about who wins the coin toss and who loses the coin toss. You get the pick, period. Dallas picks behind you. Dallas wins that coin flip. They shoot up to the number 1 spot. They're drafting Cooper Flagg or whomever. Maybe they decide they don't want him, but it's Dallas. We know who they like. They like their white saviors. But the Bulls could have had that spot. The Bulls could have potentially drafted Cooper Flag, Ace Bailey, whomever. Instead, in typical Bulls fashion, because they have to win every meaningless game possible on their schedule, they have to continue to fail in the most Bulls way possible. They lost out on that pick. The stupid coin toss. I need new ownership. I need new GMs. I need new team presidents. I need a brand new roster to watch every single time the Bulls are suited and booted up to play a game. I need real boots on the ground for my squad in order to actually see red. The red that I'm seeing right now is fury and anger and vitriol because I can't stand my team. I'm sweating right now because I can't stand my team. Like straight up. I need new everything from Chicago. The whole West Side, I need it rebuilt bottom up in terms of the Bulls. Top down, excuse me, in terms of the Chicago Bulls. Give me everything. In terms of what's needed, that's what we need right there. That's the news that needs to come out of Chicago. That's the news that needs to come out of the West Side. That right there. New ownership. I would say some things about the owner, but I don't want to bring bad karma this direction. But
please don't.
I need new everything from Chicago. I'm just going to leave it right there. Give me new ownership. Give me new team president. Give me a new GM. Give me a whole new roster. Everybody that plays on the Chicago Bulls can get out of town except for Kobe White, and even he can ride
out. I noticed you didn't say new coach. I don't know if you heard. Well, yeah, there you go. I mean, because I heard Tom Thibodeau's on the market.
Look at me.
Yeah, you sweating like you gave a sermon there, JJ.
Everybody can go right now, bro.
Call you JJ Jakes.
No, not him. No, definitely not him. No. I don't want to be. No.
Tom Thibodeau is available. I don't know if you heard. New York let him go. Would a reunion on the West Side look good to you?
No. I would rather have whatever players that do end up on the Bulls. I would hope that their ACLs are intact.
Wow.
And that Tibbs doesn't have the opportunity to, let's say, put any more ACLs in jeopardy.
Wow.
I respect, but real talk about Tibbs. I respect his basketball acumen, his dedication. But regardless, his flaws are going to show. He doesn't view the game with enough long-term vision from a full 82-game season standpoint or a playoff run standpoint to really be able to manage a roster of young players. He'll get the best out of them for sure. That will happen. He'll drag every ounce of skill and try hard and desire out of every player on his team. But in the process, it's going to wear thin. And in that whatever 3 to 5 year window that you have Tom Thibodeau as your coach, there's going to be burnout. Inevitably, it's going to happen. It's going to be burnout, whether it's on the players on the roster that play for him, whether it's in the front office that hires him, whether it's just in the building itself in general, even with the fan base or the media. There will be burnout, and inevitably it's going to crash and burn. So a Tom Thibodeau reunion, a 2.0 here in Chicago, no.
Well, thanks for that sermon. Out west. Let's go to Little Caesars Arena. What's happening in Detroit?
Man, there's so much to consider in this off season. You have what I would consider a log jam decision to make on the off guard. Do you bring back Schroeder? Do you depend on Ivy? The Malik Beasley extension? And what do you do with Tim Hardaway Jr.? Those are things that you have to consider that they're talking about considering and what they're going to do with those players. And also the big talk of who you're going to bring in, because there's a desperate want for a stretch 4 or a stretch 5. So that's what's going on. I'm not going to be long-winded with it. I'm going to let Foster talk about it. as well, so he can chime in.
Yeah, the reports I'm seeing is that they find value in bringing back a Hardaway, which uh, eh, I
He's not the biggest Tim Hardaway Jr. fan.
I mean I
I
think
mean,
at
why
this
should
point
you be?
yeah, I mean at this point in his career, he's definitely seen better days. But yeah, I'm seeing that I mean, I think Beasley is highest priority of all of them, but I'm seeing that there's some interest from Schroeder and Hardaway. I'm also seeing a lot of trade, rumors swirling, such as an exchange for Derek White for Jaden Ivey, along with some picks. So um, there's that to mill over. Obviously, you're kind of punting on the of the ceiling of a Jaden Ivey for a guy that's probably more equipped right now to complement Cade at the best of his abilities. Um, they've also talked about, as June talked about, as far as a stretch 4, stretch 5 option, guys like Nas Reed, Miles Turner, Santi Aldama. Nas Reed and Miles Turner, I think I think there would have to be some trades along with that. I don't think we have enough cap space, especially with Cade, triggering that extra money due to being an All NBA player. So I think that you would have to toy too much with the current roster to get a Nas Reed or a Miles Turner. But I'm not opposed to Santi Aldama if the money makes sense. Being that he's only 24 years old, he's a stretch 4. You can bring him off the bench. He's comfortable in that role. I think he has the skill set to be a starter, to maybe be the predecessor to a Tobias Harris. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how things progress. But yeah, Tim Hardaway, I think you gotta. I mean, he was the starting shooting guard all year long. Even with Beasley being a better player, they thought Beasley was more equipped to come off the bench. I think you gotta, if you bring Tim Hardaway back, you have to upgrade the starter, which I guess you're gonna do because of Jaden Ivey. That's gonna happen without thinking too much about it if Jaden Ivey's still around. So I guess in the right situation, you could maybe make the Tim Hardaway thing make sense, especially if you get rid of Fontecchio. But I'm curious yeah. But right. But I'm curious to see if we're going to be active on the trade market. I've seen some potential sign and trade options, a Schroeder for PJ Washington, which I wouldn't be opposed to. You just slide over Sasser as your third point guard ish if you want to stagger Ivy and Cade Cunningham. But also I always want to call him Jason Collins. That's the twin. But John Collins, I saw a sign and trade with, I think, him for, was Tobias involved in that?
I think Fontecchio was a part of that.
Fontecchio was a part of it because I know Sasser. It was Sasser, Fontecchio, and I think a future draft pick or something like that. So I like the idea of John Collins coming to Detroit. You add some athleticism. You add a guy that's versatile. He can score in a number of different ways. He doesn't need the ball in his hands, and he had a nice bounce back season. 1 year removed from that Atlanta Hawks trade where they kind of just dumped him for nothing. So we'll see.
Thank you guys for the wraparound of the Central Division. Let's take one more break and let's come back to talk about the. I guess it's, you can just call them the kings of the Central Division right now, the Indiana Pacers.
Need a Garrett's popcorn break.
I do not like the way that sounded. The Kings. Oh gosh.
Hey man, you got to beat them. You got to beat them. So, as stated, they took scalps all season. They deserved to be where they playing right now. The Indiana Pacers are who they are. Yeah. So they 2 straight years in the Eastern Conference Finals. This year they advanced to the finals. So let's play a game. Let's hate on our Naptown neighbors. Let's hate on those Indie animals real fast. Let's
I'm with
deconstruct the Pacers.
I'm with that. Yeah.
First thing, Tate hinted at it earlier. Who do we think is the actual best player of that team? Because it's a conversation that Halliburton is a superstar, and some people say no, no way is he a superstar. I mean, he's an Olympian, he's clutch and all this other stuff. But does that make you a superstar? I don't know. I'm gonna just go around the room. Yes or no's. Is Halliburton a superstar?
No.
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 No, I don't think he even averages 20 points a game.
Well, he's a point guard, man. You can kind of some slack on that, right?
In this day and age,
Not in
your
today's
superstar
NBA.
point guards are
Point guards are scoring. Yeah.
Okay. Second part of that question for Halliburton. Is he the Pacers' best player? And if he isn't, who is?
I would say yes.
You agree, B. False?
I believe that there's an argument that could possibly be made for Pascal Siakam. I think he's quite a bit more experienced than him. So at this age, maybe not. But I do believe that Halliburton's ability to create for others. I think you take him off that team, they probably would have some issues. So yeah, I think overall he's their best player.
Chicago, you all have had a colorful history with the Pacers. Halliburton, he the best player on that squad?
No, Siakam's the best player in my opinion.
Oof, defiant, unequivocal answer out of JJ3. That's what we like out of you. Tate, break the tie. Halliburton, best player.
The system is the best player. Rick Carlisle's the best thing going for the Pacers. I mean, to me, Halliburton and Pascal Siakam are the same guy. I mean, they're both offensive threats that don't do nothing on defense, that are rail thin guys who are not great defenders. I mean, Halliburton's the most clutch player. Pascal Siakam's the best player, in my opinion, on the team.
Okay. Siakam's the best player.
Asked and answered.
All right. Okay, so we got two Siakams and one flat out no from June and a possible. It sound like one of those spades hands that you hate getting. You got two spades, spades, a bunch of red cards, and a possible.
You said no. You asked if you said if Halliburton was the best player on the team. I said yes. I just said he wasn't a superstar.
Okay. Yes. All right. Still a bad spades hand. It's summer. So you gotta have spades on your mind. All right. So there's a difference between best player and most indispensable player. As we've looked at the Pacers this whole playoff run, we've seen what Halliburton's done, especially in the clutch. But does that make him the most indispensable player? Like, they could have Siakam doing everything that he's done. They can have Halliburton doing all he's done. But do they still make the play? Do they still make the finals? Tied 1-1, going back to Indiana without fill in the blank.
I think that there's definitely a distinguishment between best and who's more dispensable. I think being indispensable is more. It more depends on who you have behind them is reserves. So I think that you got Indiana is kind of deep at the forward position. You got a guy like Jarris Walker that probably, if he was playing on another team, given more opportunities, might be able to do something. I mean, this guy's a former lottery pick. So I think that you could find a better replacement for Siakam before you can find somebody that can create at the level of a at the level of a Halliburton. I mean, TJ McConnell is a good player, but I don't think he's not doing what Halliburton does. I think that they might be able to find some, your Obi Toppins, your Neesmiths, your Jarris Walkers. You can find some guys that can move in and be a decent replacement.
JJ3, most indispensable player on the Pacers.
Most indispensable, I will give that to Halliburton. You're not reaching the finals without his performances in the clutch. It's definitely been the most indispensable performance for Indiana. I mean, you just got to give him that and tip your cap to him. Still doesn't make him a superstar. Still doesn't make him the best player. But in terms of the discussion of who's been the most indispensable, yeah, it's Tyrese Halliburton.
You agree, June?
I agree. I mean, the clutch shots, the timely shots that he's made, it's kind of like, liken it to what Bob Horry was doing. He was on a team with Shaq and Kobe, but when his number was called to make that final shot, he knocked it down.
Okay. All right, Tate. Everybody's got, other than be false, everybody's got Halliburton as being most indispensable. How you see it?
I see. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I see it as Halliburton's most indispensable. I mean, he's the cog in the wheel of that system that makes it go. I mean, I've said before, the whole thing works because of Miles Turner being a stretch five. That's so that offense, that run, that fast pace, and all that. He's not a traditional point guard. He's not going to just lead it. The style that Rick Carlisle plays with that team is this perfect style meant for Tyrese Halliburton.
See, I was going in a different way. I'm thinking about Neesmith. I think Halliburton, he could have been the exact same player all playoff run. Same thing with Siakam. I don't think they're here without Neesmith. Neesmith put clamps on Brunson. Brunson went to bed thinking about Neesmith and like, damn, I got to see this dude again tomorrow. I can't do nothing with him. He completely evaporated that the conversation. Who was the most clutch player this year in the NBA? Jalen Brunson. You ain't thinking about that no more, are you? After that series, why? He couldn't. He had no energy left for any type of clutch moment after Neesmith wore him the entire 4 quarters. Even the series prior to that in Boston, you got Neesmith switching off between Tatum and Jaylen Brown, just being some type of Swiss Army knife defensively. That's who I think is most indispensable. Take nothing away from Halliburton and his clutch shots, but before that big clutch shot he hit in New York, they're not there. If Neesmith then hit 6 of them beforehand.
I don't disagree with you. Don't you have another question about the Pacers though? Because Neesmith would be my answer for the next question. Who off their team would you want? It would be Neesmith, but I don't think he's the most indispensable player because Nembhard can play defense. You can bring that guy that looked like got the porn mustache. I don't know his name. That light skinned guy, but he can play defense. Not Shepherd. That's who it is. Shepherd. Not as good as Neesmith, but they can play defense. Tyrese Halliburton is the navigational system. He makes that thing go.
Without you need a satellite before you can use that navigational system. But Tate brought it up, fellas. Last question. We're deconstructing the Pacers. We're breaking them down. Now we're going to strip them for parts. If this player became available this offseason, who would you want off the Pacers roster on your roster? Who would the Pistons best benefit from being available?
Miles Turner. To go with the current roster that we have, Miles Turner.
I actually thought I knew what you were going to say because you were big on this player before he signed that extension. But I think I would still say Siakam just because he's kind of exactly what we're looking for right now, a floor spacer, a second option for Cade to defer to. He's not the best defender, certainly, at this point in his career, but I mean, he's a much better upgrade from the Tobias Harris option. Not that he's a terrible player, but I mean, Siakam can still score at this frame of things. But I do like especially now that I look at Neesmith's numbers, he's very, very efficient. I'm hoping that Asar Thompson can be our Neesmith. I mean, 50% from the field, 43% from three, 91% from the free throw line. That is the epitome. 50. I mean, I don't know what's crazier, the 43% from three or the 91% from the free throw line. That's when we talk about true shooting percentage. That is
Curry. Go ahead and say it. It's Curry.
You better not say that.
It's numbers don't lie.
He doesn't
shout
have
out to Jamil.
Create though. I mean, Curry is shooting.
Curry didn't either, but story. It's topic for another show.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jerry Jack and Draymond. Also shout out to my man Michael Smith and Jamil Hill. Chicago, JJ3.
The Bulls actually was Neesmith as well. Quite frankly, I don't want Halliburton. I don't want the contract.
Because you got Kobe, you don't need Halliburton.
You know what? That's facts. Shout out to Tar Heel legend Kobe White.
Oh, wow.
I don't want Siakam just because of age thing, and my team needs to be deconstructed, as I already mentioned previously. So I would take Neesmith, relatively cheap, young. He about 25, 26, or probably turn 26 in the offseason, something like that. I would take him, quite frankly. For those reasons as well. And again, like you say, he gonna put clamps on somebody. The Bulls desperately need defense. They can't guard a chair. Look, man, to me, that's the guy that I would take right now.
Yeah, he's perfect for this. For what the Bulls, let's say the Bulls don't get deconstructed. I think he's an easily plug and play guy, and he brings exactly what the Bulls don't have. It's somebody that can get underneath somebody's jersey and defend them, right?
Well, the Bulls, again, you say, let's say they don't get deconstructed. They won't. They're not going to get deconstructed. It's the Bulls.
We know.
I can predict the future. We know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
They're going to run it back with pretty much the same squad again. So, yes, Neesmith will slide in perfectly. Pause just in case.
Yeah.
He would be an excellent fit on the roster from a basketball perspective. Yeah, like you say, put clamps on the opposing team's best wing player. So yeah.
All right. So last thing we got before we get to our ending real fast. I know there's been an internet discussion about the NBA Finals and his lack of branding on the court. Like, just real quick, do you all care about that type of stuff? Like, I know I saw a post on, I believe it was TikTok, guys showing the side by side of what the in-season tournament course looked like versus what the NBA course looked like. It was night and day. The NBA course had no branding, had no letting you know that this is the finals. This is the premier event for the NBA. But is that something you all care about?
No.
You go ahead.
I could care less. There's not much to it. I mean, we know it's the finals. We've been waiting all year to see the two teams standing at the end.
Mm-hmm. So, the sentiment around you all is like, yeah, we know because we all been watching for 6-7 months. We know June equals NBA Finals, right? But the NBA don't care about the guys who know. The NBA cares about, and this is the. Go ahead.
Yeah, because I mean, again, like you say, we watch basketball. Like we pay attention to the NBA. For us, that branding on the court doesn't mean anything. At most, for me, it's nostalgic when I see it because, again, I've grown up as a kid. I used to see the finals logo on the court or the emblem of the finals for when it's the finals, you used to see that. I don't necessarily need that now. I'm grown. It's not that big of a deal. I watch basketball. I keep up with basketball. But that's not being marketed to me.
Mm-hmm.
The purpose of that is to market that to the layman.
That's one. That's one. That's the most important one. But I'll ask you all this question: do any of you all cook? Like not like when I say cook, I mean like cook.
Yeah.
So you understand plating is important. The presentation
Presentation
of
is
what
everything.
the presentation is everything. You go out and you spend some money on your meal on your outing. It gotta show like something, right?
Good.
The NBA Finals is the premier event of the NBA season. It is everything has built up to this point. So while I am a basketball fan, I understand June equals finals, and I've already set my whole calendar to that. You also have to plate it. You have to display this. You have to make it. You have to show that it's important. So I do get that. I do get that sense, even though I'm not enraged by it. Like what they did in game one, they had nothing out there. It was just a regular court. It could have just been a regular game in June, right? And then when they came back in game two, you had the digital Larry O'Brien, small Larry O'Brien, in both ends of the court. And then after halftime, then you had this NBA final script that we all grew up loving. It felt kind of lazy.
Definitely
So
lazy.
yeah, of course it's lazy. In my opinion, it looked like when they did that, it's like, okay, they were reacting to the social media discussion about it and possibly saying, you know what, if anybody wanted to buy this ad space, it's available. But Adam Silver, and I know this isn't his actual department, but everybody, Adam Silver's office and whoever makes these decisions, you gotta plate the food. Everything has to show as if it's important. Because if you don't take it to be important, we ain't gonna take it to be important.
I also think it might have something to do with the fact that you got two small markets. I mean, Indiana and Oklahoma City. I mean, they couldn't get more nothing burger as far as the cities are concerned.
Yeah, but that shouldn't matter in terms of your presentation. Your presentation should always be large for your premier event. Like this is the culmination of your season. Like
I don't think it would have happened if you would have had Luca and
maybe, but that falls on the people in charge. Like they should be the ones doing their due diligence, no matter who's in the finals. If it's me and you in the finals, like it shouldn't matter. The finals is your event, like the World Series, like the Super Bowl. Put on a show regardless.
So,
And to close it up, SoFi ain't paying more to advertise, well, to have the licensing of the in-season tournament than YouTube TV and everybody else are paying for the NBA Finals. So give them what they pay for. Post-game podcast celebrating giving you everything for the Detroit Pistons. Where can they find that podcast, gentlemen?
You can find post-game podcasts on Bleachers and Speakers on the YouTube channel, and anywhere you can listen to a podcast, you can find us for your audio fix. Just make sure you follow us as Post-Game Podcast, FFSN, in your search on any of those platforms. Make sure you download those episodes. Make sure you turn that notification bell on, so when we drop content, you'll get a notification.
Thanks, June. Definitely good content coming out of Little Caesars Arena, Detroit basketball. Cleveland Cavaliers. That's rather cavalier. Where can you be found at?
I don't have a voiceover. He hooked up everything else, man. I thought, it said brought to you by Cleveland Cavaliers by the frustration. I thought, then I hear June talking over with a voiceover. I thought I had one too, made for me. But anyway, good listeners, you can find That's Rather Cavalier podcast anywhere you get your audio podcast. Just search FFSC and That's Rather Cavalier. Basketball podcast. Like I said, wherever you get your podcast. So be sure to give us a like, give us a follow, give us a 5-star rating wherever you check it out at. You get to hear myself talk Cleveland Cavaliers along with these guys. So, check it out.
Good stuff coming out of Cleveland as well. JJ3, we got a Bulls offseason episode coming up this week. That's going to drop on the Frustrated Chicago. You want to tell us about that?
Yeah, it'll be dropping on the Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan Network. We'll be discussing the Bulls' continued efforts at failing and frustrating and letting down their fan base on a regular basis. It seems like a yearly occurrence. Almost I can set my watch to it. But yeah, we'll be discussing everything Chicago Bulls in full detail. Me and my typical podcast partner that we discuss White Sox as well. We'll be breaking down the Chicago Bulls on this next one. So y'all can definitely feel free to check that out.
Yeah, when is that next White Cast episode?
White Sox episode. Yeah, we'll get that out to you very shortly. Don't even worry about that. New updates, we're revamping everything for this one, so don't even worry about it. New name, new format,
New owner.
New bells and whistles. New owner is actually in the works for my Chicago White Sox. It might take 10 years, but
hey man, White Sox been kind of balling the last few days though.
Well, last couple of days, the clock is right twice.
If it takes 10 years, it ain't gonna happen. But
there's something that could happen first, but again, I'm not trying to speak bad karma.
Whoa. Let's slow down, JJ3. You coming in hot, man.
Make sure that vibes only as we close the show.
Yeah, there you go. Good vibes only. That anime convention got a lot of steam pent up, man. Let's chill.
No,
let's chill.
Please believe that.
We get good vibes every time we close the show. We get to the don't miss a drop. Well, that's good vibes right there.
Drop.
It's a drop.
That's Tate's favorite word. He just had to say it. Thanks for listening to this latest episode from the Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan Channel. Don't matter if you listen to this on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or watch it on Twitch or YouTube. Make sure you like, subscribe, share with a friend, hit the notification bell so you never miss a drop. And to all the guys from Chicago, we say 3 things. Bear down, go Cubs go, and sell the team, Jerry.